English talking practice. Alex often dreamed of speaking fluent English. He pictured himself effortlessly conversing with people from around the globe, sharing ideas, and exploring new cultures. However, in reality, his English journey felt like a daunting uphill battle, filled with self-doubt and frustrating moments of silence whenever he tried to articulate his thoughts. He knew he needed a breakthrough soon. He spent countless hours studying grammar rules and memorizing vocabulary lists, but when it came to actual conversation, his mind would just go blank. The words seemed to vanish, replaced by an overwhelming sense of anxiety and embarrassment. This common struggle made him question if true fluency was even possible for someone like him, a perpetual beginner. One evening, while searching online for how to improve your English, Alex stumbled upon a simple yet powerful piece of advice: talk to yourself at home. It sounded strange at first, almost silly, but the article emphasized the importance of regular, no-pressure vocal practice. He decided, despite his initial reservations, that it was worth a try. His first attempts at talking to himself were awkward and halting. He described his day, narrated his actions, and even argued with himself about trivial matters, all in English. It felt incredibly unnatural, almost like performing for an invisible audience. Yet, he persevered, setting aside 15 minutes each day for this peculiar exercise. Slowly, the words began to flow more easily. He started noticing phrases he could use, expressions he heard in movies, and new vocabulary from his readings. This English talking practice became his secret weapon, a safe space where mistakes didn't matter, and confidence could quietly blossom without fear of judgment. Alex then realized that speaking wasn't just about output, input was equally crucial. He searched for how to improve your listening skills, and discovered a world of podcasts, audiobooks, and English-language YouTube channels. He started dedicating an hour daily to active listening, not just passively hearing. He began with topics he genuinely enjoyed, like history and science, making the listening process engaging rather than a chore. He focused on understanding the general meaning first, then re-listening for specific words and phrases. This consistent exposure to native speech patterns significantly enhanced his comprehension abilities. The more he listened, the more natural English sounded to him. He started picking up nuances in pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm that he had never noticed before. This intensive listening practice was a revelation, demonstrating how vital it was to immerse himself in the language's natural flow and cadence. Next, Alex turned his attention to reading. He understood that English story reading could greatly expand his vocabulary and familiarize him with different sentence structures. He started with simplified readers, then moved on to short stories and even articles on topics that piqued his interest, making learning enjoyable. Reading allowed him to see how words were used in context, solidifying his understanding far more effectively than rote memorization. He kept a small notebook, jotting down new words and phrases, and then tried to incorporate them into his daily self-talk sessions, bridging the gap between passive learning and active use. As his vocabulary grew and his listening skills sharpened, a new challenge emerged: how to make confidence in speaking. He realized that solo practice was good, but real-world interaction, even imperfect, was essential for building true conversational fluency. The fear of making mistakes still lingered somewhat. He decided to join an online language exchange group. His first few interactions were nerve-wracking. His heart pounded, and his voice trembled, but he pushed through. He reminded himself that everyone makes mistakes, and that learning was an ongoing process, not a destination, alleviating some pressure. He consciously shifted his mindset from, "don't make mistakes," to, "it's okay to make mistakes." This liberation allowed him to focus more on conveying his message rather than achieving perfect grammar. The other learners were incredibly supportive, and many were facing similar struggles with their own target languages. Alex started small, asking simple questions and sharing brief anecdotes. Each successful interaction, no matter how short, boosted his self-esteem. He learned to embrace the awkward silences and moments of confusion, viewing them as opportunities for growth rather than failures in communication attempts. He also started thinking in English more often. When he was walking, cooking, or even showering, he would try to narrate his thoughts and actions silently in English. This constant mental practice helped to rewire his brain, making the language feel more intuitive and less like a foreign code to decipher. The combination of consistent self-talk, extensive listening, active reading, and brave real-world speaking created a powerful synergy. Each element reinforced the others, accelerating his progress in ways he hadn't anticipated at the very beginning of his language learning journey. He felt a noticeable shift in his abilities. One day, Alex found himself in a coffee shop, and a tourist approached him, asking for directions. Without hesitation, Alex responded clearly and confidently in English, providing detailed instructions. The conversation flowed naturally, and the tourist thanked him profusely, a moment that truly validated his efforts. That small, unplanned interaction was a turning point. It wasn't about a perfect accent or flawless grammar. It was about effective communication and the joy of connecting with another person. He realized that all his "how to talk in English" practice had truly paid off in a tangible, real-world scenario. He continued to push his boundaries. He started participating in English-speaking clubs locally, no longer content with just online interactions. The face-to-face conversations, with their immediate feedback and nonverbal cues, added another layer of richness to his evolving language skills and confidence. Alex understood why you must listen. He recognized that listening was not just about understanding words, but also about grasping context, emotion, and cultural nuances. It was the foundation upon which all other language skills were built, especially the ability to respond appropriately in conversations. He often recommended listening to different accents to broaden one's auditory comprehension. British, American, Australian, each presented its own unique challenges and opportunities for learning. This diverse exposure prevented him from being flustered by unfamiliar speech patterns in his daily life interactions. His daily routine now consistently included a blend of all these practices. Mornings began with self-talk, commute time was filled with podcasts, evenings involved reading, and he sought out opportunities for speaking throughout the week. This balanced approach kept him engaged and steadily improving. Alex also discovered the power of imitation. When he heard a phrase or an intonation he liked, he would repeat it to himself, trying to mimic the native speaker as closely as possible. This helped him refine his pronunciation and made his own speech sound more natural and authentic to listeners. He encouraged everyone to view mistakes not as failures, but as valuable learning opportunities. Each error highlighted an area for improvement, a chance to refine his understanding and correct his application of grammar or vocabulary. This positive reframing was crucial for maintaining motivation long-term. The journey wasn't without its plateaus and moments of frustration, but Alex learned to push through them. He reminded himself of his progress, focusing on how far he had come rather than how much further he had to go, which kept his spirits high and his commitment unwavering. His advice for how to learn English became simple: consistency, immersion, and courage. He believed that regular, deliberate practice, coupled with bravely putting oneself in situations to use the language, was the fastest path to fluency for any motivated individual. Alex even started keeping a journal in English, writing down his thoughts, feelings, and experiences. This writing practice further solidified his understanding of grammar and sentence structure, providing another avenue for active engagement with the language on a daily basis. He found that storytelling, even simple ones, became easier. He could recount events from his day, describe his favorite movie, or explain a complex concept without excessive hesitation. This ability to narrate personal experiences was a significant milestone in his spoken English development. His confidence soared, not just in English, but in other areas of his life too. The discipline and perseverance required for language learning translated into a belief in his ability to tackle other challenges, fostering personal growth far beyond mere linguistic acquisition. He began to mentor friends who were also struggling with English, sharing his techniques and offering encouragement. He emphasized the importance of finding one's own comfort zone for practice, whether it was solo speaking or group interactions, ensuring sustained engagement. Alex often told them, "Don't wait for perfection to speak, speak to achieve perfection." This motto became his guiding principle, pushing him to engage in conversations even when he felt unprepared or self-conscious about his current level of proficiency. He knew that simply listening to English passively was not enough. Active listening, which involved trying to understand every word and nuance, was what truly made the difference in improving his comprehension and retaining new information from audio sources. He started watching movies and TV shows without subtitles, or with English subtitles only, to challenge his listening comprehension further. It was difficult initially, but he noticed a marked improvement in his ability to follow rapid-fire conversations and diverse accents. For English story reading, Alex discovered that choosing stories that genuinely interested him made the process much more enjoyable and effective. He wasn't just reading words, he was immersing himself in narratives, expanding his worldview while improving his language skills. He found that discussing the stories he read with others, even briefly, helped to reinforce his vocabulary and comprehension. It allowed him to articulate his understanding and opinions, bridging the gap between passive reading and active discussion practice. He also experimented with recording himself speaking. Listening back to his own voice, despite the initial discomfort, provided invaluable insights into his pronunciation and areas where he needed to improve. It was an objective way to track his progress over time. This self-assessment, combined with feedback from native speakers in his online groups, created a powerful feedback loop. He could identify specific errors and actively work on correcting them, making his learning process incredibly efficient and targeted. Alex realized that true fluency wasn't about sounding like a native speaker, but about being able to communicate effectively and confidently in any given situation. His goal shifted from perfection to practical, real-world communication proficiency. He became an advocate for consistent, daily engagement with English. Even 10 or 15 minutes of focused practice each day accumulated into significant progress over weeks and months, proving that small steps lead to big achievements eventually. His journey underscored the idea that, why you must listen, extends beyond mere comprehension. It's about absorbing the rhythm, the flow, and the cultural context embedded within the language, which are vital for truly natural communication with others. The initial fear of how to talk in English gradually transformed into an eager anticipation for conversational opportunities. He sought out interactions, seeing every conversation as a chance to practice and refine his growing linguistic abilities. He learned that embracing the process, enjoying the small victories, and not being too hard on himself were key to sustained motivation. Learning English was a marathon, not a sprint, and patience was a crucial virtue he had to cultivate regularly. The support he received from the online language community was invaluable. Connecting with other learners and even native speakers provided encouragement, tips, and a sense of shared journey, which mitigated feelings of isolation during challenging periods. He realized that integrating English into his daily life, beyond dedicated study time, was the ultimate key. Changing his phone language, watching English news, or even thinking about his grocery list in English all contributed to constant immersion. Alex often reflected on his early struggles and how far he had come. The quiet, hesitant learner had transformed into someone who genuinely enjoyed the process of how to learn English and embraced its continuous challenges with enthusiasm. His experience became a living testament to the power of deliberate practice and a positive attitude. He proved that anyone, regardless of their starting point, could achieve significant progress in English with the right strategies and persistent effort. He emphasized that finding joy in the learning process was paramount. If learning felt like a chore, motivation would quickly dwindle. So, he always advised others to make learning fun by choosing engaging materials and activities daily. Alex's story truly showcased that, how make confidence in speaking, comes from doing, not just knowing. Each time he spoke, even imperfectly, his confidence grew incrementally, building a solid foundation for future, more complex interactions. He learned to trust his intuition more, allowing words to flow naturally rather than constantly self-correcting in his head. This shift from analytical to intuitive processing was a major breakthrough in his journey towards true fluency and ease. His journey was a powerful reminder that language is a tool for connection. The more proficient he became, the more he could understand different perspectives, share his own, and bridge cultural gaps with diverse people. Alex's success wasn't due to some innate talent, but rather to his consistent application of simple yet effective techniques. He was proof that dedication and a strategic approach could overcome any perceived language barrier in life. He encouraged others to start small, perhaps just 5 minutes of self-talk daily, or one short podcast episode. The cumulative effect of these small, consistent efforts was far more impactful than sporadic, intense study sessions alone. The confidence he gained in speaking English extended to his professional life, opening up new opportunities and allowing him to interact more effectively in international settings, which was a huge personal and career boost overall. He firmly believed that anyone could embark on a similar path. The resources were available, the methods were proven, and the only missing ingredient for many was the courage to start and the consistency to continue practicing regularly. So, Alex's message resonated: learn English not just with your mind, but with your voice, your ears, and your heart. His transformation from a hesitant student to a confident communicator was truly inspiring and a testament to his hard work.